Okay, guys, welcome to season 2 of the Grappling Monthly podcast. I am beyond excited to be hanging out here with Professor Chris Rossi, someone I've come to know and who's kicked my butt for many years.
A long time.
Yeah,
long time.
Since you were a purple belt and I was a white belt.
Man, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. And still can't pass your guard for the life of me, unless you decide to let me.
Yeah, passing my guard's not so bad. Stopping me from passing yours.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
100%. We're out here in Templeton. We're in Quebec, right?
Yeah.
Templeton, Quebec.
Just outside of Gatineau.
Just outside of Gatineau in the National Capital Region of Ottawa. So kind of a return home for me of sorts, which always feels really good. You guys, as always, if you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. Leave comments, give us feedback, tell us what we could do better. And share on socials, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff to get the word out so we can keep putting out Jiu Jitsu content. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Sounds good.
Os. No, Chris, so we've known each other for...
I was purple belt.
When were you a purple belt?
Man.
15 years ago? I started in 2011.
You started in 2011 at Evo?
At Evolution in Gatineau, yeah.
Then I was purple belt then.
Yes.
So 2011.
So we've...
around then.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah. And before that, you trained... You were like... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to recall you being probably one of the only kids that were training...
In this area?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in this area.
In this area, man. So I started martial arts when I was 12 years old. 86. 98? 98? Yeah. And man, there wasn't a lot of places back then. So I started traditional martial arts. Regular jiu-jitsu, grab my wrist, I do a defense, hit you in the groin, throw you in the ground, hit you in the groin again, leave, come back, hit you in the groin, you know. Traditional martial arts. Yep. Then I found a school in this area called Fighting Arts Academy that taught combat sports. Because all I wanted to do was be a fighter. I saw UFC 2, and I was like, man, this is my life. This is it. This is it for me. And that school, the ceiling, the technical ceiling was very low, but I was 14 years old, you know, and I was training with people who were all bodybuilders, powerlifters, who all were seeking, you know, something else extreme to do.
Yeah.
And they were 25 plus years old. And there was nobody my age except for my training partner who was a year and a half older than me and other kids that I tried to bring who all quit because it's too hard. I trained there for a while. At 17 or 18, he closed. I kind of floated for about half a year. I went to Ronin in Ottawa where, again, no kids, but all 20, 30 plus year olds. I tried a couple times. It was far for me to get there because I lived around here. And then I... by happenstance, I met Dan Guillemette from Evolution through a work colleague of my brother. And I met Dan back in the day at Fighting Arts one time. And we ended up training in his basement, then his garage. So we upgraded to his garage. Nice. And then we opened up Evolution in 2008. 2008.
So Dan he wasn't a black belt at that stage?
No. Dan's one of those old schoolers from this area who you only got your belt once every like 6 years when some guy from Brazil or from the States came up for a seminar and was like, I think you're pretty good, so I'm gonna... Last time I was here, I think I remember you and you were white. I'm gonna give you a blue belt now.
There you go.
That's kind of how Dan went up the ranks. It's how everybody in this area went up the ranks. Yeah. Except for me, the only kid who got his belts from those guys.
Tell me how that was, like, because you also compete. You got to compete, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, so between the ages of 14 and 22, I competed a lot. Again, tournaments were scarce. You had to drive to Scarborough or Toronto, so either 4 or 6 or 7 hours away. Montreal had one tournament every 2 years about. Okay. So it was hard to find places to compete. But I did every chance I got, so.
Nice. Describe, like, just kind of get the vibe. I think it's going to be similar to some of the earlier tournaments that were happening in the U.S. as well, maybe a smaller scale, but like, especially in comparison to what you might see in like Submission Arts United or even an IBJJF today. Yeah. Like, what was the scene when you were competing?
So when I was a kid, tournaments piggybacked other martial arts events. So like in Kingston, 3 hours away, every year they had an event that they piggybacked on a big karate event. It was a big karate or traditional martial arts event. And they had a little section where we were doing Jiu Jitsu, or nogi, or grappling. That's all they called it back then. My first tournament, there was a kid division or a teen division, and I fought a girl. That was it. That's all it was. One karate girl. She had a yellow belt on. Destroyed her real bad.
The first intergender champion here.
Exactly. It's me.
That's it. It's not Craig Jones, guys. It's Chris Rossi.
But they allowed me to compete with the adults.
Okay.
But again, I was 14 and a half, and they were all like 25 plus. First guy, I jumped flying armbar because I was a kid, right? Jump flying armbar, missed, land, stand up right away. He guillotines me standing guillotine. And so I air plank and spun on myself, like crocodile rolled in the air.
Okay.
So he lets go because he didn't want to break my neck.
Huh.
Because he knew more jiu-jitsu than I did, obviously.
Okay.
He lets go. I land bottom side. We fought for a while. I didn't win. But it was double elimination, so I had another chance. I didn't win again, but again, I was 14, trying to fight adults, you know.
Did they tell you, like, please don't do that again?
The guy did.
Yeah.
3 tournaments later, I did it again.
Okay.
And the ref tapped me. He's like, oh, you tapped? I said, I didn't tap. He said, you tapped. And he pushed me off to the side. And he's like, never do that again. And then I didn't do that again.
Okay.
Ever. It took 2 times. I am not a fast learner.
Well, I mean, so this is like 2004-ish kind of thing?
Let's say 2004-ish. And so when I say they piggybacked other events, in Scarborough, I did a tournament where they piggybacked another martial arts thing. They had some Cali guys going full tilt, Cali helmet,
like
hockey gloves.
Dog Brothers
like Dog Brothers kind of. Probably there was a Dog Brother in that area, so they were going full tilt. And I remember my friend and I was the only training partner I had, stable training partner. We were waiting for our turn to get on the mat, and we kept being told, you guys are going to start soon. Your division's starting soon. 6 hours later, we hadn't eaten. So I remember I was starving. My dad and my brothers who brought us to tournaments, we bought a hot dog and some fries. And I had a hot dog and fries. 5 minutes after, you guys are on.
Nice.
One of the best performances I had. And I learned there that eating junk food before I fight is the best way for me to fight.
That's interesting. At one of the training camps at Evolution, I showed up one day, just the way life happened. I hadn't eaten, and I ate McDonald's right before 4 hours of workshops, and I felt like crap. So I don't think the formula
but I think
works for me.
It's a long period.
You're thinking of like a 5-minute match, full tilt.
Yeah, exactly. I had Kentucky Fried Chicken one time before a tournament. Destroyed. Super good, yeah.
And then destroyed the bathroom after.
Probably, I don't remember. But every tournament I've prepared for, super good nutrition, super good preparation, super good pre-fight nutrition, I kind of crapped out. I think it's like too much pressure.
Okay.
I do this for fun, and if it's too much pressure, it's not fun anymore, so I don't perform very well.
Fair enough. So I know you as somebody extremely technical on the mat, right? Like, I don't recall, maybe it's because I don't have the skill set required to push you to that limit, but I don't require you ever going like all out from an athletic perspective in order to gain some position. It's usually, from my experience, like just melting through the person's guard or using technique to get to that. So where I'm going with this is I'm curious, like with a limited amount of training partners, and then presumably the training partners that you did have were much bigger, much stronger. Do you think that had something to do with how you developed your way of doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
So I think athleticism is categorized in several different boxes, right? So it's like when you tell new guys in Jiu-Jitsu, you got to force less. But that's the only attribute they have, right? So when I was a kid, obviously forcing against powerlifters or bodybuilders wasn't a good idea, but I could bend a lot more than they could. I could move myself a lot more than they could. So my athleticism, even now that I'm in much better shape than I was when I was a kid, and I'm stronger and I'm able to push harder, my athleticism plays through in flexibility, mobility. Got it. I always tell students, you do have to force less, but if it's the only attribute you have, it's like you telling me, be less bendy, be less mobile, because if all you're using is mobility, so physical attributes for me were flexibility, mobility, and that's what I kind of developed with time.
Okay.
It took a long time for me to start actually using strength rolling, because I had to learn how to do that because I never really did.
Interesting. Yeah, I never looked at it from that perspective, to be honest. And you're right, it is a form of athleticism, right?
Certainly.
As much as strength.
Look at the top guys now. a lot of them aren't like super strong, but my God, they're mobile.
Yeah.
They're mobile and they can get into any position. You can't stack them. You can't really stretch them into an uncomfortable position. They're never uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, and that is funny because so you were doing, not that you were doing necessarily. I mean, were you doing mobility work, or you just like because you were young?
No, because I was young, I kind of developed into this mobility, right? This mobility. I was still bendy, I was still supple, and it just allowed me to stay supple.
Nice.
Now I do mobility work, and I really, really stress to my students how important it is. Solo drills to how to learn to move your body before you try and move somebody else's body that doesn't want you to move it.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to get people to do off the mat
100%.
at home. Nobody wants to do that. It's boring stuff,
It doesn't require any space, any equipment, and yet,
it's nobody wants to do it.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get why.
But it's interesting because like the Russian squat or just the sitting in a squatting position, most of us have lost, right? Like over the course of just life and office work and chairs and cars and everything else. I certainly have. But I guess through your practice, you kind of maintain that and even probably developed your mobility.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Some mobility, like toe flexibility. My toes go way further back now.
Yeah.
And we do it every warm-up. I make people rock on their toes every warm-up. Nobody wants to do it again. That's why I make them do it in the warm-up.
Because it hurts, man.
Yeah. Nothing comes for free.
That's true. That's true. So, like, what was it about the training or just jiu-jitsu itself that you kept coming back for? Because if you didn't have anybody else your age and if everybody was big, I could see it being somewhat like exhausting or just challenging every single time. So what was it about it that was just like, no, I love this shit. Like, I want to keep coming.
I took to it pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I've always had a natural knack for BJJ in particular, or grappling in particular. It's something that, even not being taught, like I said, the first school I was at, the technical ceiling was very low.
Yeah.
Even though Pat Miletich came in for seminars, Bas Rutten came in for seminars, but one seminar every 2 years, you'd only learn a lot from these guys. Yeah. And even their technical ceiling back then was pretty low.
For sure.
Back then, people just fought. And wrestlers just came in with some wrestling background, didn't make it as wrestlers, came to fight in MMA, did pretty good, but people just fought. Bas Rutten is not a technical genius. But I would not want to face him in the street or the ring.
No, right? Or the bar.
Or the bar,
that
exactly.
DVD.
Yeah, exactly. So people just fought back then. So we kind of learned this new ecological method of training is how we trained back in the day.
Right.
We just tried to absorb as much as we could and develop. And I used to call it inventing stuff. Now I call it discovering stuff. I used to discover moves by myself. And then later on, years later, find somebody else who does it too. And I still do that now. I discover stuff like, man, I just found this out. And then my student comes back, hey, I saw a video of something you just did. I just took to it really, really well. I did a lot of MMA too back then. I was doing Thai, grappling, wrestling, all that stuff. And I think I gravitated way more towards grappling because I didn't like getting punched in the face that much.
Fair enough, yeah.
And that was it. I had a good kick and I could defend myself, but I prefer grappling where you don't have to get punched in the face. You can actually have fun. Blow out your knee, blow out your ankle, pop your shoulder, your neck, but don't get punched in the face.
Yeah, unfortunately, those are realities that. So that's cool. That makes sense. See, it's actually been the exact opposite experience for me. Like it's just like a wealth of training partners, right? Like a generation after you, basically, at least. And a wealth of training partners, more resources than ever before, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I'm definitely post VHS era, right?
We were books even. Even VHS, there wasn't that much. You can go, Dan still has a library. He's got like 150 books.
Yeah.
You look at a picture, okay, look next picture, put your hand there, put your foot there.
Oh, man.
And then tweak it all because jiu-jitsu was in a pretty square box back then, 8 people did it. And then, 16 other people tried to do it, but you're not me.
Yeah.
And we're both not that guy, so I can't do exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. I think I saw, because we hung out, Dan and I, and recorded an episode, and I think I saw, like, there's the Kodokan book is there, and, like, the 2 or 3 volumes of Marcelo Garcia's books.
Yeah, he's got Renzo Gracie books. He's got, man, he's got a bunch of books. I don't even know anymore all the people he's got. But now with DVDs, and never mind DVD, with the internet, man, exactly. Screw it. You don't need anything anymore.
Yeah, and I think my experience was more of like, I'm actually really not inherently good at this, but I enjoy it. So I'm just going to keep doing it.
And so It's a pretty strange sport, right? It's a pretty counterintuitive sport.
Explain.
Lying on your back and fighting off your back is not something we developed. We developed past crawling into walking, and then we never crawl again.
Right.
But now I have to teach you how to crawl again to be able to fight off all fours, on your back, on your side.
That's true, yeah.
All the while trying to make the other person do something he doesn't want to do. It's counterintuitive, whereas hitting a ball with a stick makes sense. Crossing my feet when I move makes sense, but when you fight, you don't cross your feet. When you wrestle, you don't cross your feet. You know, it's a bunch of things you got to deprogram and reprogram. That as an adolescent, I was still pretty young, so everything molded towards this.
Right,
you know?
right.
So it's and you see it now with kids. Kids who've been training since they were 8, let's say.
God, yeah.
I've got a girl here who's 14 years old, and she's already been training for like 7 years.
Damn.
Because she started at Evo, and now she's here, and like she never crosses her feet. But there's a whole bunch of stuff for her that's now ingrained, and that's it. She's only 14 years old.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is, in regarding your struggle, let's say, to learn this stuff, and now we're seeing it more and more, especially with Danaher. He's got a very good flowchart approach to things.
Right.
And the system of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 really helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of students I have, if they don't have that step process, it's difficult for them to learn.
Makes sense.
Me, I've got a backwards brain, so I just need to know 6.
And
I'll reverse engineer 5 to 1, right? Because if you teach me 1 to 5, 1 to 6, you lose me at 2. I stop listening. I'm already starting to think of the next move.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
I've got a ADD, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, most of us at this point, right?
This generation of people,
100%.
we're all attention deficit. So
what was that? A squirrel. Yeah. I think I actually said that during a meeting once, like a fully professional meeting at work, and there was a window, and there was a squirrel that jumped across, and I was like, "Oh, a squirrel!"
Hey, look at that, guys! What?
My work colleagues are looking at me like.
Yeah. So back to my pie chart.
As the point I'm trying to make is So you stuck to it because you know it was something that you enjoyed, and you know you kind of had this affinity towards it, and you also saw it develop in the like Gatineau, Ottawa region, right? A lot to where it is now, where I mean it's still maybe smaller than like it's smaller than Brazil, and it's maybe smaller than places like Los Angeles and stuff where there's like almost, I won't say saturation, but there's like a lot of like thousands of people, but there's still way more jiu-jitsu here than there is. Fact of the matter is that you can come to Templeton, right, and then
in this obscure place
nobody's ever heard. I had never heard of it. I'm from here. I'm from like down the way, and it's not true. I had heard of it, but I just never been.
I know. I understand. Why would you come here?
Exactly, but you can come to a place like this and then have high quality instruction.
I understand.
You know, at the highest level, as far as I'm concerned. So like. Did you see a turning point at some point where you're like, man, this is really growing, or like where techniques started to come in more openly? You didn't have to necessarily find a library, or
so we opened Evo in 2007, 2008, I think 2008. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Around then, and Montreal was getting pretty big. Montreal had several schools, but one prominent school they'd brought up. Several different people from Brazil to head programs there. MMA was getting a lot bigger. It was actually called MMA at that point.
Right.
And that was called NHB, so no holds barred is what we called it.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Nice. And then it turned into MMA.
Okay.
And as Montreal grew as a hub, and I think that might be why Gatineau grew so much with GSP and all that, everybody coming up. There were several fighters out of Montreal who were getting pretty big on the international scene.
Yeah.
As Montreal got big, well, all the guys from Ottawa and Gatineau who used to do this stuff, you know, as like on the obscure side of things, you know, it all became a bit more mainstream, and they had a lot more quality instruction right next door. Right. Because Montreal is only 2 hours away, or an hour and 40 minutes if you take the highway now. Yeah. So they had quality instruction really close. They developed really fast because they already had a really solid base because they've been training for so long, just training in a haphazard manner, you know? Right. A bit consistently, but piecemealing it all together. Yeah. Then they had a source where they could streamline everything. Nice. And then from there, some Brazilian guys from Ottawa became really close with the Brazilian guys from Montreal and developed a sort of a network. And so I'd say around 2010, in Gatineau, Ottawa, and Montreal especially, it blew up a lot. Nice. So we had opened, and it was starting to get traction. Our school was small, and we didn't have that many students. Yeah. We were focusing a lot on MMA, And MMA kind of went to the wayside for schools, I'd say, in like pre-pandemic, maybe 2016-ish. MMA started going to the side because it's hard to have an MMA program and teach people everything in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Twice a week, you know?
All the wrestling, the striking, the fitness.
It's a hard program to head.
Yeah.
Some schools still do it, and that's fine. More power to them. I think a lot of schools dropped that as a program because people didn't advance very well. So,
Well, and in the province of Quebec, is it the province of Quebec? One of the two, Ontario or Quebec, like fighting amateur was one thing, but then it was very difficult to find pro.
yeah, exactly. And then they've changed that. I think now there's all kinds of different governing bodies who help that. But realistically, government wants to get paid. If nobody's paying them to do this stuff, well, they're not sanctioning the event, right?
Yeah.
But no, first it was Ontario. It was legal. Then it was illegal. Then Quebec was still legal, so they did it here. But then they removed the legalization.
Yeah.
It was a hard thing, a hard line to toe.
And was there not events happening on like reservations at some point? Like
Yes, there was for a while, for sure. But and I think they still do.
Okay.
I think they still do. Because they've got lots of money. And they want a piece of the pie too, right?
Yeah. And then the regulations obviously are different there. So
yeah, you can do whatever you want there.
there's something like extremely movie-like of like going into that environment and probably likely a casino, right?
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
The local police being different than the police that is, like I think there's a movie there that we kind of have to make. There probably already is.
I'm sure there is. It's just low budget.
Yeah.
That's where they.
Well, I think that's
where they launder their money.
You mentioned Georges St-Pierre, and he fought at UCC, which I think was in Kanawake or something like that.
So UCC, I went to one in Montreal.
Oh, really?
In Montreal.
Okay.
But I think when they removed legalization, they moved it to the reserves, or the reserves just hosted some at times because, like I said, they've got money and they want a piece of the pie too. They've got the venues, they've got the money.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can do, like you said, one guy's a knife and two guys have no knives. And they fight.
So, okay, I know that you are the type of person, I know you well enough to know that you've most likely seen some of these videos on YouTube where, and this is not where I was expecting the interview to go.
It goes where it goes, man.
Exactly. Where they're
There's two
in like...
girls in it.
No. They have like full medieval suit on.
Yeah.
Armor suit with like a sword. I don't know how sharp, probably relatively dull, but still a sword, right? Or
In a
spear,
ring? Or
in a
outside?
ring.
Yeah, okay.
Both, right? Like,
Yeah.
And then the other day I saw, and I had to double check that this was actually real. It was two guys with whips and no shirts on.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like, why would you subject yourself to that?
Have you been whipped before?
No.
It's
no,
not that
I've
bad. So we share the school with a karate school. And karate schools, as you know or don't know, they introduce all kinds of different weaponry into their system. Relevancy, maybe, to stay relevant, stay interesting.
Yeah.
Or just to give their students something else to practice and something else to learn. And one of their students had a whip one time, and I was out at an outdoor event they had, and he was cracking the whip in the open, and I was like, man, I wonder if that hurts. And it cracks because on the end of the whip, they have a little tiny piece of cotton that cracks the air.
Okay.
So that's what actually whips you. The leather strand is like for beating, but the crack in the whip is that little end. So I stood whatever distance, and he crack, and he whipped me in the neck and the back 2-3 times. No blood, swollen a little bit, but it wasn't so bad.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Now, if you had like 100 lashes, I'm sure it would suck.
Yeah.
But I always thought pain at a threshold like that. But sorry, small anecdote. Bachelor party we did paintball, and I wasn't allowed to wear the overalls.
No,
so it was just
your bachelor party.
Yeah, my
Okay,
bachelor.
okay.
I had tights on, so basically like spats.
Yeah.
And a rash guard.
Oh, man.
And the last game we played was everybody has a gun except me. I had to run and hide. And everybody converged on me at the end. And I always thought pain is a threshold. You hit that threshold, and you can just hold it, and you'll be fine. It goes beyond that threshold. And it hurt. I had to tell them to stop.
Oh,
I didn't
man.
expect to have to tell them to stop, but I told them to stop.
Okay.
I was welted all over.
Jesus.
But anyway, so
Yeah.
I would assume 100 lashes would suck.
Yeah.
But two guys we each have a whip.
You're not going to
I feel it's an inefficient fight. We talked about Dog Brothers before. There used to be these old videos of them challenging anybody with any weapon.
Oh, man.
They'd have their Cali sticks and anybody with any weapon. And there's a video of a guy with 2 whips, and he'd crack.
Really?
And the Dog Brother was like waiting, and between 2 cracks of the whip, he just rushed him. And that's it. Fight's over. He didn't even hit him, but he just rushed him.
Yeah.
The other guy's like, yeah, well, I'm done.
So much for my whips.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird.
Whips are a pretty inefficient weapon. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think it's a good weapon to use.
Yeah.
I'd rather, like the gladiator things, a net and a trident, you know?
Right. I knew I was talking to the right person.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So that medieval stuff-
Chris is gonna have some views on this.
That medieval stuff, my brother's talked to me about a lot because he'd like to try it.
Really?
And there was an episode going around because he watched them all, and he told me a lot of the guys who win are smaller. Because what happens is, as soon as you put somebody on their back,
Yeah.
the armor weighs like 120 pounds.
Yeah.
So you got to move with that on.
Yeah.
So as soon as my knee hits the ground or whatever, like,
It's heavy.
I'm pretty done.
Yeah.
So what a lot of guys do is they just use their sword as a shield, kind of, and they bum rush, and they grab and they toss. So it all becomes jiu-jitsu or judo again.
There you go. So you'd be fit for this.
Maybe.
For sure.
Imanari roll with my with my full suit of
That
armor.
would be epic. Yeah. A highlight reel for YouTube
Yeah.
for sure. So back to grappling.
Yeah.
Although in that setting, you know, I could see it really being a good toolkit to have in your back pocket, right?
Well, if you think of traditional jiu-jitsu or judo or wherever these martial arts come from, they all come from war, right?
Yeah.
So a Japanese setting, I have my longsword.
Yeah.
Or my katana. Whew, I lose it, whatever. I have my wakizashi for a backup. I lose that. I have my tanto, but I can't get it out
Yeah.
because we're fighting.
Yeah.
So I grab you,
Yeah.
I toss you, and I stab you, and I kill you. Right? That's all it was. It's grab to throw them on the ground, because once on the ground, I certainly have the upper hand, and I have time to grab my third weapon and do something, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think of it from war perspective, of course, if I can put you down, I win.
I really regret us doing this interview without you having all those
guns.
guns.
Yeah, so
yeah, behind the camera is like a lot of weapons that we'll pan to later for practice, right? And potentially
not jiu-jitsu practice.
Yeah. So, okay. In that context, because you mentioned a war setting, and it's interesting to me because for a while, I think, if I remember the history correctly, in Japan, there were no more fights across dojos because people would just die, right?
As possible. I don't know.
And then judo came, and
kind of
Kano Jigoro was just like, yeah, let's have like a national sport kind of thing so that we can continue to test ourselves at the highest level without, you know, having a funeral procession every single time.
Yeah.
And then obviously we know from his team of black belts and judo masters basically that went to Brazil, met Elio and beat them up for a while and everything else.
Yeah.
Do you think that jiu-jitsu now has changed? Has it from when you started to now, like, has it changed into more of a complete martial art per se, or was it already, or is it just continuously kind of evolving in a bit of a cycle?
I would say jiu-jitsu now is more its own thing. When I was a kid, and you can watch all the old ADCC videos, these guys were monsters and they fought. Like, they fought. Almost, it looks like they're fighting to the death, you know?
Yeah.
Nowadays, I feel kind of like MMA. The sport has shifted jiu-jitsu to its own little kind of bubble.
Okay.
And, like, would it translate to war now? No. Back then, ADCC time, it would translate to war. Nobody sat down. Nobody pulled guard. Nobody wanted to be in guard. And I'm not poo-pooing jiu-jitsu today. I love jiu-jitsu today. It's much safer. It's more of a fun game than it used to be. It used to be a fight. Now I find it more of a game.
Right.
Which is great because I'm old and I'd rather play a game than fight now
Fair
anyway.
enough. Yeah.
But back in the day, it was a pretty rough sport. Like, people went at it for real.
Yeah.
And I think back then you could translate it to fighting in the street. It would be more effective. If you had to use hand-to-hand in war, let's say, it would be more effective, the old style of jiu-jitsu. New style of jiu-jitsu, I don't find it as effective in terms of self-defense, let's say.
Right. You don't want to like Berimbolo mid-battleground.
No, exactly. You know, everybody always makes those jokes. You know, like even the Simpsons did it. You know,
Did they?
I trained jiu-jitsu and the guy lies down. Now come atop me and meet your doom. Right? But and again, so it's more of its own sport now than it is a martial art.
Got it.
Dan calls them martial sports. I call them combat sports. They're very specific. You know, I find to the setting.
Yeah.
It's a great complement to other styles for sure.
Right.
But as its own style for self-defense, it's become really a sport more than anything else. I feel.
Yeah.
MMA, same deal. Like, MMA used to be one style against another style, things like that. Now it's like, if you don't have at least 2 out of 3 pretty perfect, you're not making it anywhere.
To the top level, like
you're not making it to be in A class.
Yeah.
You'll stay in C, and D, E, and work your way up the...
You can't just be tough anymore kind of thing, right?
Well, some people make it.
Yeah.
Some people make it. There's a guy from Gatineau, Marc-André Barrios. He's got some skills,
Yeah.
but he's tough as nails.
Yeah.
And he'll never stop. He's unrelenting. And he's making it up the ladder. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
yeah, no, there's something to be said about those old ADCCs, like...
they were rough dudes. They were...
Yeah, but you could see also, like, people showing up to the competition, like, with no neck, with, like, whether there's performance-enhancing drugs or not,
Some of them.
Probably.
Some of them were. I would say today probably more of them are than they used to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, when you see somebody that's, like, regular build, but absolutely shredded beyond, normal.
Yeah.
You're like, is that genetic?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then as you say, unrelenting, like just capable of pushing a pace for 10 minutes, nonstop, which at the tender age of 44, I can safely say I'm no longer capable of doing.
Exactly.
But
I'll slow the pace.
Yeah.
I'm not going to push it.
Half of this podcast is turning out me complaining about being old.
Makes sense.
I mean, yeah, exactly. But so if we're looking at like, so your first few competitions to when did you stop competing? Because at one point you shifted a little bit more to teaching on a regular basis.
At 23, so let's say, when did I stop? We opened in 2008, maybe 2012. I stopped competing. 2011, I stopped competing.
And then you picked up teaching on a regular basis. Like
I was already teaching on a regular basis,
Okay.
and I think I got to a fork in the road where, do I still want to prepare for tournaments? Do I still want to train for tournaments and go that hard? Or do I just want to teach more and, keep training and keep helping other people make it to that level?
Yeah.
And I chose the coaching route. Coaching route for me made more sense.
Okay.
I did a tournament. It didn't go well because at the tournament I was questioning why I was even there. Right?
Got it.
And then after I lost that first match, I was like, man, I don't think this is for me anymore.
Got it.
I much prefer helping people get there than striving to get there myself. It's not important for me in that way. Right?
Got it. I was gonna ask, like, what's different for you in your approach, for example, to you're going to compete on that, a given weekend, or you're teaching on a regular basis? Like, how do you approach jiu-jitsu differently, if at all?
So I get to explore a lot more by teaching, as opposed to just sharpening the tools that I already have.
Got it.
Plus, the whole mental preparation got heavy for me for a while.
Okay.
But I think I was trying to toe the line, like I said before, between I'm doing this to have fun and I'm doing this, putting pressure on myself to perform well.
Yeah.
And I think that was a bad road for me.
Okay.
I have to keep it light, or I don't really enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
And teaching, it's light all the time, right?
Yeah.
Even when people pour their heart and soul out, because as you may or may not know, when you're a martial arts teacher, you are also a therapist and a financial advisor and a real estate advisor. And people talk to you about all their stuff, which is great. I want people to come here and to get away from their day and to, go home a bit better every time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can still keep it light in that way. And I still feel like I'm helping people more this way than I am competing. Competing, I'm just doing it for myself. And I think I'm past that. I got past that after teaching for so long.
Fair enough. You said that you can, well, I'm paraphrasing, but essentially focus on more things, like in terms of, yes, there's the like financial advisor, therapist, and all that side, but there's also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the feeling that it's also more like you get to explore a wider range of jiu-jitsu, right? Like
for sure.
Techniques that you might not
and
use.
for me, with my attention deficit that I clearly have, exploring jiu-jitsu for me is not really researching moves and stuff. It's more like rolling, and instead of trying to do the stuff that I always do, just try and see what my other options are and what your other options are. So I always joke with my students, I'm rolling for two every time I roll, because I'm rolling for myself, trying to figure out things, but then I see what you can do, and then I make you do it as I'm rolling and say, hey, put your hand here, do that. And I develop new moves or discover new moves by making you do them to me as much as I do them to you.
Nice.
So I always roll for two people because I'm trying to figure out both sides of the chessboard, if you will, at the same time.
That's cool. I never looked at it that way, actually. I haven't gotten to the point where I get past my own ego, I don't think. Like, I'm going to get this guy.
Exactly.
Just going ham the whole time. But But I feel so. I've started teaching as well, and I feel like that is one thing that I almost feel like a responsibility to be able to answer a question, or at least circle back to the person and be like, okay, let me get back to you because this is my answer now, but after some thought, I might tell you something different.
Yeah.
For instance, like I've never cared for half guard, never enjoyed it, never had my blue belt phase, right, of like half guard. But I can't, in good conscience, be completely incapable of teaching it to somebody.
Yeah,
right. Like I need to understand the big parts of it and at least the fundamentals of passing it or keeping it or using it to sweep. Or what have you, right?
Yeah. So, I get it.
But that's not something I don't think I would have ever even bothered with until much later, until, I become the old man game.
You're like, let's see.
Let me just lie down here.
Hold my leg. I don't care. I'll just stay there.
So that's, do you find that like forced you to look at different things?
So yeah, in a way. And I say in a way because at the level I'm at, really, like I get questions from people, hey, how do I do this? Or here's what I'm working on. What do you think about this? And it's not something I work on. Let's say I got a student who's working on reverse Kimura a lot. Okay. I don't do reverse Kimura. It's not really my thing, but I'm stronger than I say, but to me, I'm still the little 14-year-old kid, right?
Got it. Yeah.
So I'm not a strong guy. I don't do strong guy stuff. And I find reverse Kimura is a pretty strong guy thing because you got to isolate my arm, you got to move it. And if I don't want you to move it, it's not going to be that easy. Right. But Jimmy, one of my students, if he wants to move your arm, he doesn't need reverse Kimura.
That's true.
Right? But he's been working on reverse Kimura a lot. So what I like is my higher level students, they explore all these new things. And then we sit down and they say, okay, Chris, now what do you do with this? And then I break it all completely. And as I break it all completely, I get to learn it and destroy it and then make it better for them. So I kind of learn through my students now. They find stuff, they filter it to me. Yeah. I break it, we tweak it, we make it a bit better. And then they go off and they do it on everybody else. Then they come and do it on me live roll. I break it again. And then we keep breaking it that way. Nice. Like I have this, as you know, single X pass with X guard pass and all that.
Classic Chris Rossi stuff.
And I do it on everybody here. And I just taught them go reverse X. They'll stop all my passes. So they go reverse X, but now I got to break that. So nice. So that's what I do is I'm selfless, but with my teaching, but I'm also very selfish because not only do I roll for 2, I also learn for 2. So I make you learn stuff so that I can learn stuff. Right. I mean, that's probably ideal as far as from a student perspective as well, right? Because, there's always an exchange. There's always that feedback, right? Yeah. So like reverse engineering is really your thing. Yes, it is. Yes, exactly. That's cool. And it's interesting because typically you'd reverse engineer something that's complete, right? But jiu-jitsu isn't necessarily ever complete. I agree. Right? Yeah. Like, I don't know, maybe we'll get to a point where everything has been explored. But then by then things are forgotten. Exactly. You know? Leg lock game is a perfect example. Before Danaher brought it back real bad with all his DDS, leg locks, when I was a kid, were super prominent because all the Russians were doing it. Right, okay. And all the Russians came on the grappling scene from Sambo, and they were leg locking. They had a whole system. So we worked on that whole system, and then you had people like Barnett and Dean Lister, and all them were leg locking people, toe holding people, various twisting ankle locks, hip locks, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, and then that kind of went away because Guy took over. Yeah, and when Guy took over, people left the legs alone. And then when Nogi came back, Eddie Bravo, you could say he was the one who brought it back real bad. Yeah. And when Nogi came back, for several years there wasn't much leg locks, and then DDS they developed a whole bunch of leg lock systems, and now leg locks are super popular. Yeah. For a while it was heel hooks. Yeah. Now heel hooks are kind of falling away, and people are going back to ankle lock because you can secure the leg a bit better. Yeah. And that'll go away too because people are going to be too good at defending it. Yeah. Like Barambola was there for 2 years. Barambola's still there, but it's all you could see for a while, right? Or the 50-50 era, which I think 50-50 era, big era. People just sitting there. Oh man, I believe it was the ugliest era in jiu-jitsu. I understand. Just because it's not to my taste, but but that's where, like I said, that's where it kind of became its own sport. Right. 2 guys touch hands, both sit down. Yeah. Right. And I get it because if I keep standing, you're gonna roll me, you're gonna take my leg, and I'm gonna get screwed. Right. Yeah. But from an old school standpoint, those guys would never sit down. Yeah. Ever. You'd never put their butt on the ground. Not like they wouldn't let you. If you did, it's because you really got them. Yeah. Right? That's so the some of Craig Jones's stuff, like the just stand up is really popular now, right? Which
We played a game, and it's funny because this eco approach is nothing new.
No, it's not. It's not.
Like having constraints on what you can and can't do. I think I learned at Evolution, like from day one, like, okay, we start in half guard, and you sweep, reset, or you get submitted, reset, right? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the other day we did no submissions. One person starts with a side control pin, and their objective is to hold the person down at all costs. You can go to mount, you can,
But you got to keep them on my back.
You got to keep them on their back, so there's no like taking the back.
Yeah.
You got to keep them on their back. And the other person's objective, they don't have to worry about submissions. They just have to get up.
Yeah.
It is not easy to hold somebody down that doesn't want to be held down.
No, it's not.
Unless you're like really, have the wedges in the right places.
Yeah.
Or 350 pounds on.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Pounds. But
yeah. We had a student friend who trained with us back in Dan's garage, who also came to us when we opened Evo.
Nice.
And he was a big MMA guy. He went to live at Frank Shamrock's in LA. Was he in LA? In California, anyways. I don't know where he was.
Yeah.
In California, but he went to live there for a year.
Was that the Pit or something like that? Or something like that?
I don't know if that was Frank Shamrock's school.
Maybe not. No.
That was Ken Shamrock's school, maybe.
Okay.
Anyways, Frank Shamrock learned from catch wrestlers in Japan. That's where he learned all this stuff.
Right.
And one of his mount escapes was exactly that. You stand up. So
Nice.
in mount, the technical stand up right from mount. And you'd
just get up, yeah.
You'd really fool people because they'd be like, okay, you'd be standing up.
Yeah.
And they'd be standing up too, but like, okay, now we're wrestling again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it was a pretty sweet skate. And that's, again, it's an old school kind of a skate that's coming back now.
Yeah. So like, is the secret to success in the sport is maybe just detecting where the next trend is and getting ahead of it?
It would be if you could study history.
Right.
Study the history of all the old tournaments, because whatever people aren't doing anymore now will probably work now.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it'll work now, and then people all start doing it, they'll all jump on that train, and then you'll have to go, like, let's say we break into 4 different history points.
Yeah.
So take the 4th one, bring it to today.
Yeah.
Now the 3rd one becomes the 4th. And now everybody's working on this, grab that new 4th one, bring it here, and just keep cycling those 4 different eras.
That's right. Yeah. My new thing is why ignore 1% of the body?
Yeah.
It's good. There was Pete the Greek. He's all about wrist locks. He came to Burbank where I train at Legacy. And a great workshop, just wrist locks from everywhere, like literally everywhere.
Stupid ass wrist locks.
Yeah. But so just wrapping up a little bit of like the history piece. And I want to touch on the fact that you came up with, again, leg locks and things that became uncommon for a while.
Yeah.
How was it when that stuff came back? Was it like an old familiar feeling? Did you keep training these techniques throughout, or was it different by the time it rolled around?
It was different by the time it rolled around, and I followed the trends, so we didn't leg lock much anymore.
Right.
We could, and randomly you get this guy from another gym who trained years ago.
Yeah.
And as he starts rolling, starts snatching on your legs. So then it all comes flooding back. And I do all this stuff too.
To wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, exactly. Just for booting my leg. But the new leg lock game is quite complete, quite versatile. I haven't really studied it other than it being done to me and me kind of breaking it to get myself away from it.
Yeah.
My defense to that is the same defense as the just stand up thing.
Right.
Put weight on it, stand on it, and then anchor yourself, and people can't really move you anymore. But it's a big game, a lot of intricacies, way more than it used to be. Because it used to be grab, pinch, crank. Grab, pinch, crank. Whatever you can grab onto, you grab it, you pinch your knees, and you crank.
Pretty much.
But it was. If you unpack it, it's more technical than that, but that's kind of how it was taught. And the guys who were doing it were all 225, and they were all pretty strong dudes,
Yeah,
You didn't see the little guys back then do it. John Machado wasn't a huge leg lock guy,
Yeah. Well, he's not small either, though.
But he was small by comparison to Dean Lister.
Yeah,
and,
or even his brother Hegan.
Or even his brother, exactly.
Man, yeah.
So it was different when it came back around. It still is different than back in my day.
Yeah.
And if you watch Sambo leg locks now, they have a system. There's like 8 moves to the system. The leg lock system today has like, I don't know how many moves.
Yeah.
Infinite amount.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird to me that at one point I'm curious, what you think. Because the sport, right, from like an IBJJF
Yeah.
perspective, really values and was built on this idea of you're being in a dominant position
Yeah.
in an actual altercation, right? So
Yeah.
the mount is highly valued, the back is highly valued.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes sense,
Yep.
right? But then a certain number of positions were essentially illegal up to a certain degree, right? And I don't even know if black belts are allowed things like hip locks.
I don't know.
Or like neck cranks or things like that, potentially. But is there a reason, in your opinion, like is it solely to protect the athletes that you don't see that sort of thing, or is it that those moves aren't really effective and they could do them, but
So we'll take neck cranks, for example. Super effective moves.
right?
You've been neck cranked before by
have.
accident
Yeah.
or on purpose.
Yeah.
They are highly effective. They suck.
Yeah.
And the injury rate must be extremely high because your neck's not that strong.
Yeah.
And if I crank it, the window where you can tap or verbally tap is pretty small before
Right.
you get injured.
Yeah.
So I think that's protect the athletes. It's like the reaping stuff. The
Yeah.
reaping stuff, I guess they went through the stats. How many knees were injured from reaping?
Yeah.
Probably a lot. But how many of those injuries, I'd like to see the stats on that, but it's hard to obtain,
Yeah.
are because of the guy who's getting reaped.
Right.
If you reap my knee and I'm trying to go the other way, I'm going to get hurt.
100%.
If you reap my knee and I try and go the proper way, or at least remove some of the pressure from the reap, I'm kind of responsible for my own well-being as well. Whereas neck cranks, I feel, in my opinion, it's kind of a 95% your responsibility and a 5% mine to defend myself
Right.
because it happens really, really fast.
Yeah. And you're already pinned for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Or like the can opener, let's say.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about.
Can
yeah,
openers are really bad
What
for,
other neck
for
cranks
herniating
can you
discs.
teach us?
Yeah, for herniating discs. And,
Right.
and like, if you don't know how to properly defend it, that's the 5% that's on you. If you don't defend fast enough or tap fast enough, that's the 5% that's on you.
Yeah.
But 95% is you applying it in an explosive manner, and you're going to hurt me.
Yeah.
If you break my elbow, I can still live.
That's
You
right.
herniate my discs, I'm going to have a rough time.
That's a lifelong thing.
Yeah, forever. And my elbow, too, I'll probably be hurt forever. I'll probably
Yeah.
have a small injury forever, but it's an elbow.
It's an elbow, yeah.
There's
Shout
no
out
spinal
to,
cord.
Yeah, shout out to Dan and Hickson and all these other old gentlemen that are like living with 6 herniated discs.
Exactly. I don't want one.
Much
so.
respect to you guys because wow, yeah, constant pain is like I don't know how you can function in society.
Yeah,
being-
no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But no, that makes a lot of sense though. And when you say how much of like for the knee reaping, for example, you make me think of the Meow Brothers, right? Like notorious for not tapping the leg locks.
Yeah.
And pretty sure like their leg cartilage is like super loose. I would like one day hopefully get them on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And they're really to see where they've grown, like from being kids to where they're at now, is really amazing. But
yeah.
like, I don't remember exactly which World's final, and to be fair, it's the World's final, so you want to win, right?
Yeah,
But I'm pretty sure like it was either Paulo João and maybe Mikey Musumeci or somebody
Okay.
along those lines, right? Equally like
Yeah,
elite level.
Yeah.
And they're both belly down, ankle
Cranking on
locks,
that,
right?
yeah.
Full crank. At one point does it become a show, or does it become like I'm just not going? Like I'll let it break and I'll deal with it later. Like
So see, that comes back to my analysis of which road I took.
right.
It's not important enough for me.
Got
I'm
it.
not going to break my foot
Yeah.
in an ankle lock,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
hold it, and I have in tournaments when I was younger.
Yeah.
At 38, I don't want to break my foot. I got things to do tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have when I was younger in tournaments, some guy was cranking on my ankle, and I grabbed ankle lock on him, and I finished him. He didn't finish me. I was probably a bit more supple because I was younger, and I
Yeah.
had been bent my whole time, like those gentlemen you were talking about.
Yeah.
The top 5, top 10, you can't bend them enough to hurt them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like you said, it's the Worlds. It's the last fight of the tournament, let's say, or the super match of the whole tournament. Would I tap? 38, yes. 25, probably not.
Yeah.
I just keep going too. You break my foot, you break my foot. What does it
Yeah.
matter?
Absolutely.
But there's levels, there's risk analysis and outcome analysis. The outcome is bad, but worse than losing at that level.
At that level, yeah.
Yeah.
Considering everything you've put into it
Exactly.
to get to that level, right?
The problem is then you have to, what you're not going to calculate is at 25 years old, how long's your career after? The
Yeah.
broken foot that you have to protect and favor the whole time after for the next 10 years.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
One thing that friend of mine I said who went to Frank Shamrock's for a year, Frank Shamrock was telling him that all the old guys in Japan And you've seen them in the MMA fights. Their knees are wrapped, their ankles are
Yeah.
wrapped, their leg is wrapped all the way up to here.
Like
Their ribs are
Sakuraba.
wrapped, their arm is wrapped. I said they warm up on ellipticals for about a half an hour. So they walk out like this, and they go on the elliptical, and then they can straighten themselves out.
There you go.
And then they destroy all the young guys. And then they go back into the locker room or the sauna for like an hour.
An hour and a half. Yeah.
Try and sweat it all out and stay limber.
I think
But they're all broken from not tapping, from doing crazy stuff. Like the catch wrestlers and all those Japanese guys, man, they did some wild shit.
Yeah.
But
I remember one of the last times Sakuraba fought, and it was like, okay, please stop fighting because everybody loves you, like unconditionally. You got nothing else to prove as far as the fans are concerned. But obviously we're going to tune in, right? Because you want to see it. And I think it was like, he must have been held together by tape, like literally, right?
There's no skin.
There's no cartilage, that's for sure. His cartilage is the tape on the outside.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
And I'm sure he's not the only one, like some of the older Brazilians and stuff. Like, reminiscent of the rematch of Eddie Bravo and Royler,
yes,
right?
exactly.
Which was epic.
Yeah.
And Royler's always been like pretty flexible, right? And that whatever.
For sure, his leg broke. For sure broke.
But he wasn't gonna. He wasn't gonna tap at that point.
And I get it.
Yeah, that's a whole lineage.
I get it. The Gracie killer,
Yeah.
Another Gracie killer, I should say.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's a whole lineage. Yeah, a whole lineage that he's trying to protect. He's protecting the whole line by not tapping that ankle lock.
Yeah. Then it's worth a kneecap or two, maybe. I guess. Yeah. For some people.
For some people, is it?
Exactly. So from competing and teaching to teaching more full time, shifting your focus to ultimately arriving at this place, which is a beautiful location.
Thank you.
Never did I have a reason to come to Templeton, but now I do.
Nor should.
Templeton is a semi-rural.
It's an in-between between two different communities, really. It's the outskirts of Gatineau and before Buckingham, and it's...
Yeah. I'll put a map or I'll do some sort of overlay.
It's an in-betweener.
We'll do a Google Map journey. But as we said earlier, like you're not necessarily limited to exceptional jiu-jitsu in urban centers. Like
no, I agree.
And so
not anymore.
Yeah. So what led you to working here and like basically deciding to set up your own Rossi BJJ Kickboxing?
This whole place, this building belongs to my wife's family. This whole floor here used to be storage for all our junk, our knickknacks, our bits and bobs. Pandemic, my father-in-law, who has a karate school, he used to rent gyms, school gyms, to do his karate. And I was teaching at Evo pre-pandemic. And everybody was good with that. Evo is about 20 minutes away from my house. This place is 4 minutes away from where I used to live. Now it's 10 minutes, but still. In the pandemic, Evo closed. The schools wouldn't rent their gyms to people from outside anymore. So we transformed this place into a dojo. I illegally rolled with 6-7 people here for about 2 years. We'd roll here twice a week.
Oh, that's funny, yeah.
He'd do his karate here twice a week, illegally, which now doesn't matter.
Pandemic was a weird time,
man.
especially in Canada.
Oh man, for sure. So then after when things started unlocking, I would say the lockdowns were released.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what, this is close to home. I've got a pretty good presence and product to sell. Maybe I could start my own thing. Stay affiliated with Dan. We're still very close. I'll get my own stuff going here. Take all the people from the east. We'll meet in the middle.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of spreading onto more different ground.
Yeah.
I redesigned my family crest because Rossi essentially means red, and I had a friend redesign the logo for the family crest, so it became that.
I love it.
So I just said, you know what? I'll start. The rent here is going to be stable forever.
Yeah.
So and whatever renovations we want to do, it belongs to the family. So it's we're just going to say we're going to do it, not really ask. So it's never going to be 100%. It's never going to be exactly what I want, but we're working on it every year, every week, every month. We add a little bit more. We change a little bit more.
Yeah. It's a great space, man.
Well, we love it. We're very happy with it.
Yeah. And so what I gotta say also is that it's got your personality to it as well. Like I can tell as soon as you walk in, like even if it's still, you know, part of the Evolution
Yeah,
Network
for
and
sure,
everything
for
like
sure.
that, it's very much, you know, Chris Rossi, which is cool. And you kept going with teaching kickboxing as well, right?
Yeah, because so I like kickboxing, not traditional
Like Jean
cardio
Italia.
kickboxing. I studied with Jean-Yves for several years, which in this area, if you kickbox at all or strike at all, you know who he is and
Of
you've trained
course.
with him.
Yeah. Jean-Yves Thériault, the Iceman.
Yeah,
I'll put a
exactly.
link.
Shout out to him because
Yeah.
he's a fantastic athlete from the 80s, but still a killer. Those guys were killers too back then. Insane. And I did a lot of Thai boxing when I was a teen, right up into my adulthood.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of taken what kickboxing has to offer and what Thai boxing has to offer and made it into what I call a K1 style kickboxing because
Yeah.
we throw knees, we don't throw elbows. I don't clinch much because of my grappling background, I don't have much faith in the Thai clinch.
Okay.
And I've had this debate with various Thai instructors.
Interesting. Yeah.
And we won't have to go into details
No,
about
no,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I've had this debate that wrestling or jiu-jitsu or judo, their clinch is better, and you can't really tell me otherwise, right? So if you can
Okay.
meld that kind of clinch with striking, why would I Thai clinch? You know?
Right.
So I do it the K1 style. So you can clinch and throw one knee, basically. We can knee, no elbows to reduce cuts. And everybody's kind of in a kickboxing stance, but with Thai legs and boxing hands, right? So that's kind of why I like that kickboxing. I find it's a very good meld of melody, I guess, of
Yeah.
a bunch of different styles to make it into a more
Nice.
perfect style, if you will. Perfect in quotation marks. There is no perfect.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
And I just find it's a good sport for a lot of people to get introduced to combat sports and martial arts. Because if it were just a jiu-jitsu school, that personal bubble is a hard bubble to pierce if you've never done it before.
Right.
You know, you come in, okay, so first class, what do I do with somebody? You know, it's rough if you've never
Hug
done
me.
it. If you're a 40-year-old guy who's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to do stuff,
Yeah.
if you come and kickbox for a while and see the jiu-jitsu class that's before the class,
Yeah.
you see them rolling, you see how sweaty and gross we all get,
Yeah.
but the camaraderie and the fraternity we all build.
Of course. Yeah.
So you kickbox, you talk with them, then eventually maybe you do both, or you just do jiu-jitsu, or you still just stick with the kickboxing because the atmosphere in that class is great too.
yeah.
So we just, it's a good workout.
Yeah.
It's a good way to learn to defend yourself. I don't like cardio kickboxing because you don't leave with tools. You just
Right.
leave with a workout. I'd rather have both. You work out and you have tools.
Well, because your kickboxing class is definitely a workout.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. But you also have some skills after. It's what
Right.
I'm teaching you is actual striking. It's
Yeah.
not hit to sweat and leave. you know?
Yeah, it's funny. I've been in, I guess, around grappling for long enough that I forget what it must be like.
discomfort.
I forget what it must be like coming across it for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And like maybe you see it in a video and you're like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. But like actually, you get it a little bit. Like I get it still, the nerves when you're visiting somewhere you've never been before.
Yeah, for sure. I understand.
But as soon as you're on the mat, it's familiar.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
because you've been there.
Yeah. And it's an even playing field.
It is,
You know, like we're just all playing. And that's
Yeah,
it.
but then if you add being new to that, it's that first step that's not necessarily that easy for somebody to take, especially
exactly.
40 plus kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
so my friend who was my training partner when we were teens, he moved away, but we're still in touch. We're still very close friends. And he trains over in St. Jerome at Mathieu Dubois' school. Super good school called Kazushi BJJ.
Okay.
Super good school. Anyway, and he said post-pandemic, he was like, man, no gi, I find a bit uncomfortable now.
Really?
Because for like 3-4 years, he didn't roll at all.
Right.
So then it's...
Yeah. I'm not wearing very much. Neither are you.
It's like when you come to an open training, right? And people have been rolling 5 rounds already, no gi,
Yeah.
and you're dry.
You're dry. Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Yeah. It's gross.
Ugh.
100%.
You just gotta dive. You gotta
Yeah.
dive right in, like a cold pool. You gotta dive right in, and then you're fine. Because then you're all wet. It's okay.
100%. For me, it happens whenever I'm teaching classes back to back,
Yeah.
and if there are even numbers and I haven't rolled, then I haven't done very much physical exertion. Right?
Yeah,
So I'm
exactly.
dry.
Yeah.
Switch into no-gi, and then some of the students, sometimes all of them,
Yeah, they're-
just did the gi class, so they're sweaty as all hell. And
like-
I gotta demonstrate with somebody, so I'm like,
Okay, today we're only doing distance stuff.
yeah, exactly. Just run away.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the next set of DVDs.
Yeah, just run away. Just stand up and then just run away.
So the thing that comes to mind is what, if anything, like has changed for you from like a because now it's also a business in terms of like, you kind of do have to be proactive to a certain extent to get people in through the door.
Yeah, for sure.
A certain level of marketing
Yeah.
and upkeep the website.
Yeah.
And I want to get to Red Shield in a second.
Yeah, we'll do that after for sure.
But have you used the same approach? Like, do you reverse engineer your way into everything in life? In which case,
Luckily, I'm married to a woman who doesn't do that. She's very step by step. So
got you.
what I say is I always see 5 years ahead. So I'm already here.
Okay.
I have trouble with the between now and there.
Right.
It's like, again, The Simpsons, the panty thieves. Like, step 1, steal the panties. Step 2, step 3, profit. But I need help with those in-between steps. And my wife is very good. She's very, step by step on how to get there. Because, yes, I reverse engineer it. I want to be here.
Yeah.
I got to backtrack my way to get there.
Right.
But it's a hard process to do and something you've never done before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everybody says, no, don't reinvent the wheel, right? I don't even look at the wheel. I'll do my own thing. It's not about the wheel.
It should be like relatively this shape.
Relatively this shape. Does it roll? Good enough for me.
Excellent. Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of do reverse engineer it for advertising, for promotions and all that. I shouldn't, and I'm being steered in the right direction by somebody more organized than myself.
Okay. Good.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Partnerships are good for various reasons, whether it be marriage or business.
Yeah.
Because you need two different heads to work in the same direction.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody to see where we're going, and somebody to kind of help get there. Because it's a hard road.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just left to our own devices, right? And it's okay, figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. So, and for the gym, I try and keep it as family oriented as I can, like as familial as possible.
Yeah.
It's difficult line to toe business and friendships, business and family kind of deal. But we're finding a good balance.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be commercial to be successful.
Okay.
And I think I'm finding the right middle, and I'm going to keep it in that right middle to make sure everybody feels like they're part of this family and not just like they're a number.
Yeah.
It might keep me a bit smaller than big commercial schools, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I've got different plans for the future for a commercial side and a family side type deal. So
Nice.
we'll talk about that when I get there.
There you go. We'll be back. We'll be back at Rossi BJJ and Kickboxing for sure. I like that. And I think to me at least, it makes a lot of sense that it's kind of a difficult balance that you find, and it might be different for you than for somebody else, right? Depending on your goals and objectives down the road, and also where you're situated, and what you really want to have be your outcome, right?
Yeah.
Because I think in one of the previous episodes, I was talking with a guest, and they were telling me their experience in going to several gyms throughout the United States, right? Throughout their travels in their life, and in some cases, you had world-renowned, top-notch technical practitioners with very small schools, right? And some of which had to close their doors, right? And then other practitioners that were probably equally in love with the art and as dedicated, but just never really made it to the competition 1%.
Yeah.
With tremendously successful academies, right? And then I think some of it has to be your approach to the art, but the rest, so much of it is your approach to the community, right?
Exactly.
How you structured your business, your prices naturally, your service offerings, and how much time you put into the student at that point, right? Because if you're grooming a team of 4 absolute best and everybody else is kind of
neglected,
their training partners or their punching bags, then it's not so much fun for the rest of the team, right?
But I think those top tier technical instructors, I think their problem is, and this is the problem we ran into with Evolution for a long time, is that they love this sport so much, they'd give it away for free.
Right.
And that's where it gets difficult. If they don't have somebody with them to say, okay, listen, I understand you want to give it away for free, but we gotta
I'm
live.
hungry.
We gotta live too.
Yeah.
It makes it hard because, Dan and I, when we did the gym, we started. Both of us are so passionate about it. We were kind of a bad partnership because neither of us really cared about charging people. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would love for everybody in the world to be able to do this, and teach them and help them.
Yeah.
But can't really do that. So you need to kind of have a balance and a reality behind it that it's okay people come and pay you for a service. It's okay. It's just you have to make it comfortable for you and for them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, and it's a service, let's be honest, that is like, in most cases, like in your case, I would say doctorate level, like knowledge base that you're bringing to it. Like you're bringing, you know,
years and years,
nearly
and years.
30 years of experience, right? And perspective and teaching experience, right? It's not like you have 2 years of experience here, right?
No,
Like,
exactly.
So how do you quantify that, and how do you explain that to somebody who, like, you know,
It's difficult.
right?
It's difficult. You've talked about video games back in the day, right? You said like $10 an hour is pretty good value for your entertainment. So if you pay a $90 game and you play it for 9 hours, I've came to my money.
Right.
And this is a form of entertainment.
It is
People
also,
view it as,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So people say, I want to change my routine. I want to train. I want to see different things. So I'm going to try Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
As a form of bettering myself, but mainly to get out of my routine.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say to somebody. So when you go to a doctor or a surgeon, you pay them thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, you don't, because here we have different social systems. But that's worth thousands of dollars because all the study and the expertise they have, right? And the knowledge they have.
Yeah.
That's not entertainment, right? That's a service that you need.
Yeah.
Well, this is, if you view it as a service you need, well, you're going to see the guy or the girl who knows this stuff and who studied it for years. There's a certain value to that. But if you're going for entertainment purposes, $10 an hour makes sense. Right. So
yeah, that's true.
You got to kind of try and toe that line and also educate the students that this is it's a big system. It's going to take you a long time to learn. It took me a long time to learn.
Lifelong thing.
Exactly. And that's the business side of it. It's hard. It's hard when you would give it away for free.
Yeah.
You know, doctors don't go into it to give it away for free.
No.
But people like us are passionate about this stuff. We'd do it for free if we could.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Gain through practicing BJJ. So tell me a little bit about, like, if there's any kind of tidbit, if you could summarize it, like a piece of advice or a recommendation to kind of help, you know, the aging population continue to train jiu-jitsu until, you know, they die.
Okay,
basically.
Sure. Getting older sucks. No, but it does, but it doesn't. So you kind of have to adapt as you get older. If I think back to when, like we were talking before, when I was in my early 20s, man, nothing hurt me. I popped my shoulder, dislocated my shoulder on a bridge underneath a partner. It went down from the floor, came back. I was training 3 days later. I couldn't lift my arm, but I had my arm in my gi, tied my gi around my belt.
Yeah.
I just kept training. Today, if I just look at my shoulder like that, man, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I don't think I'm ever coming back. But no. So I shift my focus for a while to strength training. There's a gym at the job I was at, free gym. So we trained there a lot. I got a lot stronger there. I lost some mobility in my mid 30s or early 30s. I lost mobility but gained strength. Now, was that aging that made me lose mobility or the strength training that made me lose mobility?
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to only do hit style workouts with weights and whatnot. Always redlining everything. Redline. Then all this zone 2 cardio stuff came out and the steady state cardio, and that, you know, you got to try and keep a steady. Your goal is to be the most efficient possible, because the CrossFit people are always more efficient. They're trying to keep that steady pace.
Yeah.
I don't care about that, because in a fight,
there
ain't no steady pace.
Right.
It's always
Yeah.
So I always train that way. Always Tabatas, always different hit workouts.
Okay.
And this year we started a fitness class in the gym at lunchtime,
Nice.
two noons a week, I would say.
Okay.
And it's all hit style. And I go full tilt. I got my heart rate to 203 in one of the trainings at one point.
That seems high.
It's very high.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm always trying to redline, and for me, it makes me a lot happier, that style of training, than just getting stronger.
Right.
And it keeps me mobile, and it keeps my endurance up.
Okay.
Because deadlifting 400 pounds is great. How many times you deadlift 400 pounds? How many reps?
Yeah.
Not many.
No.
How many
5
times
at
are you going to
most.
need to? Not many. But if you can deadlift 300 20 times,
Yeah.
then you're better off for sports like this,
Right,
in
right,
my
right.
opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Now, there's something to be said for powerful guys who can just, you know, tap you out by grabbing your wrist and squeezing it. But even then, there's ways around that stuff too. And we've seen in the past, if the weight is pretty close, the more mobile guys come out on top versus the stronger guys, right?
Yeah.
So what I would say is, as you're getting older in the sport, do some solo drills, do mobility stuff. There's a various. Gymnastica Naturale is the first one that comes to mind because it was the original one.
Yeah.
There are many different mobility systems now based on jiu-jitsu, not based on jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But do them. They will keep you younger than being stronger will.
Nice. Yeah, that's good advice, man.
Jiu-jitsu will do that for you too, but also with pain.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. So I want to make sure that we get a chance to talk about Red Shield because you also, with Jimmy, who's Jimmy Harvey, who's a great guy, also trains here, thrown yourself into a new aspect of fitness and business. So tell me a little bit about Red Shield, our season 2 sponsor of the Grappling Monthly podcast.
So Red Shield, I had an idea for starting supplements, and Jimmy is one of the most knowledgeable people around me in the supplement world, if you will.
Yeah.
He knows a lot of ins and outs. He knows a lot of different combinations of things that work well together. I have my own opinions as well. I'm just a bit less knowledgeable than he is. So we thought, hey, let's try and make a go at this and see how it goes.
Nice.
Turns out there's a lot of steps in Canada. In the US, it's easy. You can throw 2 powders. You can throw baking soda and some other powder in a pot and call it whatever you want. There is no regulation or very minimal regulation.
Okay.
Here, it's super regulated, which makes sense. You want to protect your constituents and your inhabitants from
Cancers
whatever products, or whatever negative effects from various products. And we started with the most difficult thing to pass, which is a stimulant, right? So it's a pre-workout. We call it an energy blend because whether you work out or not, it's going to help you through the day. The energy you get from it, it's similar to those 5-hour energy type of things where you'll get an increase in energy and you'll never get that crash. It just tapers down gently.
Right.
You can go see it at redshieldsupplements.com or .ca. They're both available. And on the back, there's all the ingredients, and on the site too, all the ingredients are there for this particular blend. We've got a post-workout blend coming that's in the works.
Nice.
We've got a intra-workout blend that's coming. So for people who do distance workouts or who work out for a long time, or people who own gyms and teach 6 classes in a row, well, in there you can kind of rehydrate yourself and keep yourself going with some easy carbs. And we're going to have eventually a ready-made drink as well, kind of like a Monster can, but it's not a Monster at all. It's not going to be carbonated. It's just going to be a little fruit juice that'll kind of just give you a little kick when you need it.
Nice.
So we've got some other products coming out. This is the one we have for now. And I kept the same logo because, like I said, Rossi means red, and it's a shield. So we just call it Red Shield.
That's perfect.
So for me, it's increasing brand awareness and going from there in the same kind of direction.
I love that. That's awesome. One of the themes that came up through the first season of the podcast and meeting with different guests, majoritarily school owners and people that have been, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a long time, is this kind of like building the community that you want to see and that you want to be a part of, right? And then by extension, it goes from, maybe it starts with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it leans into its surrounding, disciplines, right?
Exactly.
Whether that's judo or in LA, for example, tac fit, here, kickboxing, right? And then also in the fitness industry, it's all related, right? It's all wellness,
for sure,
mental and physical. So
and it's all niche environments. So like we've got people now who are interested in this from the cycling community and the triathlon community, and it's not communities I've participated in at all in my life, but the blend in this is of such high quality that for them it makes total sense to help them get that extra mile or whatever they need, and to keep them going throughout their whole course.
Nice.
Products like this sell for a lot more than this one does, because again, we're trying to build that community and stay within a reasonable amount for people to be able to purchase it without the $90 price tag versus the $60 price tag, right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's pre-tariffs. But I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, that's awesome. I'm really excited to see where this goes. And
me too.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that, I think if you leave it up to us, we'll just sit and chat
we'll
all
be
day.
here for a long time.
So
long time.
rather than have a 4-hour podcast,
before your viewers drop off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, thank you so much for taking the time.
No
brother.
problem. I
really
appreciate it too.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
And for me, it's special, because obviously having started jiu-jitsu and looking up to you training and, consistently trying to get to that next level with you as one of the main role models, you know, like figures that was like
in your formative years.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to come around and to see you like fully developed in this space and continuing to grow and continuing to evolve. So it's a real pleasure.
I appreciate it. That makes me think of that meme you see, right? Jiu-Jitsu friends. There's like an old guy. There's like a young kid with glasses. There's a doctor. There's a pharmacist, and they're all friends.
Yeah.
And I'm a 38-year-old guy who, in my mind, is still a 14-year-old kid.
There you go.
And you're a 44-year-old man, and I'm like, you looked up to me?
Yeah.
Wow. This is a weird thing.
Isn't it, though? That's life, though.
A weird world.
100%, man. Fantastic. And let's close with, what does os really mean?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Nobody does.
It means yes.
Nobody does, yeah.
It means yes.
Nice.
Are you listening? Os. Yes.
Nice. Merci, mon
All right,
Dieu,
merci à toi. Merci beaucoup.
Os.